and let us all do we can to build a better future. Segment. So, turns out some good news for college students. A lot of students that are right now struggling with student debt. Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Pramila Jayapal are proposing the College for All Act. Now, this is a video from Case Study QB. Be sure to follow Case Study QB on Twitter. He's doing a lot of good work. He's uploading a lot of clips from corporate media that usually don't make it on the internet. He also has his own original YouTube channel as well. But with that being said, FaZe, let's play this first clip.
College costs spiraling. Millions of U.S. students struggling to pay for higher education. The financial burden for many lingering well beyond their degree. Americans currently owe $1.7 trillion in student loans. 93% of that is federally backed.
It's just so hard to pay for tuition. Like, I work through college, like I have to, in order to just be able to afford to go here.
To combat that, Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Pramila Jayapal proposing the largest student loan cancellation and free college plan in modern history. The College for All Act would make community college and trade schools free to everyone, make public four-year colleges and universities tuition free for all students from families earning less than $125,000 a year, and double the Pell Grant to almost $13,000.
If you look at the past year and you look at disadvantaged and underrepresented populations dropping out of college or just choosing to forgo, a big part of that reason is just the financial cost. And we absolutely need to move in a direction where education is more free, more accessible.
Michael Ellison is the CEO of CodePath. His company partners with universities to prepare underprivileged and underrepresented students for tech careers.
A lot of students are struggling just to have the basic necessities, let alone talking about what you need to thrive in a technical career. Whether that's the hardware as a laptop or whether you're looking at you need high-speed broadband.
The federal government would shoulder about 75% of the cost while states would pay the remaining share. The pushback comes from how they plan to fund it by taxing Wall Street.
I'm wondering here, how come the banks aren't getting hit up? Aren't they the ones charging us student loans, charging 7, 8, 9% for student loans? Why aren't the colleges saying, hey, why don't we reduce the actual cost of college?
The proposal puts a tax on trades with stocks at 0.5%, bonds at 0.1%, and derivatives at 0.005%. A move PHP Agency Incorporated Chief Distribution Officer Matt Sapaula says will, in the end, hurt middle-class Americans.
So now there's people who are saving, buying, selling stocks, buying mutual funds. Again, you're penalizing those who are actively buying and selling and growing their businesses.
Right.
Okay.
You know, all those businesses, those small businesses, they're like, you know what? Most of my investments it's 90% in the stock market. Let's be real on exactly what's happening. There's two parts to this. So are we happy that Jayapal and Sanders are pushing this bill? Yeah, is it what we've been asking them to do for a long time based on the words that they've used in their primaries and campaigns and their other words? Yeah, it is. It's not going to happen though. The issue that's why we were for some earlier votes, but they don't have any leverage here. And Bernie's already showed under the minimum wage that he's not willing to really put himself fully out there to force a situation to happen like Joe Manchin is. And so when Bernie Sanders says he's going to, as he did before, basically keep them from not knocking out the minimum wage, but then he did. He didn't try. He didn't step aside. He didn't use the same power of a vote that Joe Manchin does. He just said, okay, you can have it. That's not the mentality that's going to get us this bill passed. It's the mentality that'll give some people hope that something's happening when it won't.
So the thing is, on paper, this College for All Act sounds great, and I'm in full support of it. I agree.
Yep.
The rest of the world, the rest of the international community has figured out a way to make college affordable or either that college free. Now, the thing is, we in this country have a thing called student debt, similar to medical debt. And right now, again, student debt is crippling a lot of people. It doesn't matter what generation you're in, student debt is a part of American livelihood, and it's sadly because of career politicians that help make it so. At one point, college was affordable here in the United States, and that's a very sad fact. But the thing is, Bernie Sanders and Pramila Jayapal, you have an army of supporters.
Yeah.
You can call for either a virtual town hall if you don't want to do a public gathering, because again, COVID-19 is a very serious thing. Do a virtual town hall. Do something that's going to call in support and have your supporters call in their U.S. senators or U.S. House representatives. Get a large coalition. This can be done, but twice we've seen the failure for force to vote for Medicare for all. We saw that happen. Our politicians, they're not afraid of losing support from their diehard supporters.
Right.
And the same thing, too, was Cenk Uygur's force to vote for 15. $15 minimum wage increase was something that was promised by all the progressives and Democrats when they were running in the 2020 election cycle. But did that happen? Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Sinema, most specifically, two Democrats, put an end to that for the $15 minimum wage increase. And I do hope that maybe Bernie Sanders might have a different pathway. But to Daniel's point, we've seen them back down and not fully follow through. So the thing is, this College for All Act, as soon as Joe Manchin maybe wants to get involved, I'm wondering how much of that's going to be cut up or become filtered. That's the issue.
And then
Daniel.
on top of it, I think people do have a fair point when they say college itself has gotten too expensive. We do have way too many administrators and vice deans, and we're deciding every 4 years to build a new sports stadium of some kind or a new gym that you really don't need. And the only reason that they're building it is they're having a tuition arms race with other schools. So I think on top of all this, we don't even need to fund as much if we just get schools to revert to their older models of actually running with lower amounts of administration, lower amounts of new construction, things of that nature.
Yeah, and I think one final note onto this story, and that is this. We have money for the military-industrial complex. There's a thing called the Joint Strike Fighter. How many times has Daniel or myself covered this story? It takes up trillions of dollars, and it's a complete waste. I don't want to hear the excuse that we don't have money to have affordable education or that we can't pardon student debt.
Even with the current rates of college and the growth, you could do $1.5 trillion F-35 program, or you could put Americans to school for 2 generations.
And I think that's a sight worth seeing. And sadly, we have politicians that won't fight it because Prince Joe Manchin, can get whatever he wants. And that's depressing. And hold on, we got a comment also on Rockfin from Alexandra M. It took me over 20 years to pay off my loans. I retire soon after. No one should go through that. And I'm very happy that you paid off your loans. But even you should not have gone through that either. And I'm so sorry.
Yeah.